Welcome to Easy English by Editing, and today we are going to elaborate one of the poems, Class 10, Fog by Carl Sandburg. Mahasi, let us start with a little bit of discussion with the poem. Mahasi, what is the theme of this poem? Fog by Sandburg, Carl
Sir,
Sandburg.
the theme of the poem is that the nature never disturbs anyone.
Or we can say that human being and nature exist together.
Yes, sir.
But there is
They
obvious.
both are complementary to each
Yeah,
other.
there is a obvious. Purpose of this poem. The purpose is that the poet wants to portray nature as a silent worker. As a
Silent worker.
It is obvious from the poem that the fog and people exist within the same space.
Yes,
but
sir.
it is also clear that the fog has a sort of aloof attitude. It is always having a solitude, always having a silence. Whenever it comes quite silently, like a cat, like a
cat.
so the summary goes like that. In the poem, the two stanzas poems are there. The first stanza, the poet portrays the nature by describing the fog and the coming of the frog as that of the cat. That the fog and the cat are similar in one way. Ask sir how?
How?
The cat also comes silently without being noticed by anyone. In this similar manner, the fog falls quite silently and exists with us without disturbing the work of mankind. So nature is quite a silent worker. Say like that. Nature is quite a silent worker. The poet also gives a comparison of the fog and the cat just to emphasize the fact that both of them are quite silent when they come, and they behave quite, silently and uniquely. It does not disturb the work of mankind. The fog comes down without interrupting the work of mankind. So we can say that whenever the fog falls, down the harbor and the city, it falls down quite silently over the harbor and the city and makes no noise. It is quite noiseless. It is quite in solitude. It is silent and it behaves like a cat. The working of the fog and that of the cat is similar in some way. Now, ask Mercy, sir, what is the meaning of these two lines? The fog comes on little cat feet.
So what is the meaning of these two
Yeah,
lines?
the fog has been compared as the coming of the frog has been compared as the coming of the cat, and the sitting of the cat on its haunches and the falling of the fog on its haunches. It is just like the similar way. The fog comes quite silently in the similar way as a cat comes, as a cat sits on its haunches quite silently. The characteristics of both the cat and the fog is just similar. It's just similar. Just like a cat, the fog also comes down silently.
Sit, play,
Yeah,
everything they do as
now in the second stanza, it sits looking over harbor and city. How does the fog fall? It falls down the harbor and the city quite silently, without disturbing the work of mankind. Everything is just quiet and calm.
Sir, over.
It slowly moves without making any noise. Now you ask question, sir, what is the purpose of
What is the
giving this
purpose
poem
of giving
in
this
class
poem
10?
in class 10?
Particularly, the poet wants to make make an emphasis that nature always is at its silence. It is not noisy, nor it is interrupting to mankind. It is without interruption and without any noise. In this similar way, and that is why the poet has portrayed the fog like a cat, there is use of simile, simile. Am I right? Now, moving on to the second part of this, discussion today, I would like to ask you from the previous lesson that we did not the 100 lessons part 1 and part 2. One question I would like to ask you. I have prepared a question for you. Tell what is the meaning of this question. Yes, both of you. Anyone can answer. How does Maddie fear about listening to the note from Wanda's father? When Wanda's father wrote the note to the principal and to the
Yes, sir.
class teacher, she wrote that now Wanda would no more attend the school. She had left the city and they have been shifted to a bigger city. Now earlier they
Yes,
were
sir.
in a small city. So after listening to the note from Wanda's father, how had Maddie reacted? That is the question I'm asking. Come on.
So Maddie was afraid that Wanda will not be his friend.
No,
As,
it was not
so-
like that. There
so
was no
Wa-
question of friend. I
so
mean,
Maddie-
being afraid of
So
friendship.
Maddie,
Maddie had a very sick feeling. As soon as she heard the note from her father, Wanda's father, she had a sickness. She felt like sick and guilty. Ask why, sir? At the bottom of her heart, she felt that she was sick. At the bottom of her stomach, she felt like sick. She couldn't concentrate on her studies and she tried to prepare her lesson, but she couldn't. Ask her why? Because that time she was undergoing the repentance that she had not been able to correct her friend Peggy, whose behavior was always to be condemned. She always teased, she always bullied, Wanda, and that behavior was always subjected to condemnation. Everybody, disliked this, but Peggy went on doing this, teasing Wanda, despite the fact that was against the rule of the society. You have to accept everybody. Acceptability is very important. How can you tease anyone for being poor? Is it important that one should have 100 dresses? Not at all. Then, Peggy's asking question that whether she had got 100 dresses was not justified. What not at all?
Justified.
Justified.
Yes, sir.
One more question, one line question. What does Maddie want to do? Now, after she had understood that, that girl Wanda had left, what does she want to do? She wants to do something.
Just she has realized his mistake and wanted to be a friend of.
She
Wanda.
wanted to convey through a letter that she didn't mean to hurt her feelings. Yeah, say like that. Mercy. What did she want to convey through the letter?
So she want to convey through the letter that she is very much guilty about her deeds to
And
her,
she doesn't mean to hurt her.
to hurt her,
It was just because they wanted to have some pleasure.
have some
by,
pleasure.
But
By
that
teasing
and that also she didn't like. Peggy always teasing her.
Yes,
She
sir.
wanted several times. She wrote a letter also. She wrote a note also.
Sir, but-
to complain
Sir,
about.
she was also feared about Sir
Yeah,
Peggy
that she will
also make fun of her.
Make fun of her and she will make her next target.
Next
She was
target.
always afraid that now if she objected to her teasing, she would be
will
made
also-
a
yes,
target
sir.
of that. That is the
Main
reason.
target,
And
sir.
the last question, please. This is a very good question. What are Maddie's thoughts as they go to Boken Heights to find out the house of Wanda? She is thinking that, Maddie was feeling that
Maddie was feeling
Wanda
that Wanda
and herself
and herself
might be
might be
sometime together.
sometime
So she
together.
was very sad to know that
she was very sad to know
that they have not behaved well
they have not
with
behaved
her.
well with
And
her.
now as she had left the city, they might not meet her again. Might not meet her. So she was sad for not even getting
Yes,
a
sir.
chance to say sorry to her. She was sad
She was sad
just because
just because
she was not getting even a chance.
she was not
to
just
say
given a
sorry
chance
to her.
say sorry to her.
And the last, question, this is
So
give
last also kar rahe
two
hain.
lines. After that, there will be a conversation. Give two adjectives to describe
हाँ.
the behavior of Maddie.
Yes sir.
Yeah, two adjectives.
Sir, wait, I will give sir.
She was not courageous. One adjective that she was not courageous. Though she was not bad at heart, but she was not courageous. And most importantly, she was very innocent at heart. Innocent at Maddie.
हाँ sir.
She was Maddie was very. You can say that despite being an inseparable friend of Peggy, she didn't like Peggy's behavior towards Maddie, Wanda. And she often felt bad whenever Wanda was teased by her. She used to wear the hand-me-down clothes given by Peggy,
Peggy.
and so she did not like Peggy's making fun of Wanda. She used to, feel uncomfortable. Perhaps that behavior reminded her of her own property, that she was also from a poor family, from a
Poor family.
she was not courageous, and that is the reason why she never opposed to the act of teasing to her friend Peggy. Though she wrote a note, but she tore it because she didn't have the courage to tell it in front of her. Thank you very much. That's a nice thing. A discussion has been going on, and we will now move on to a very important discussion later on. Yes.